Yes,
hey guys, it's
yes,
the D&D Level Up Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Your boy King D Money,
TTMT,
right here on the D&D Level Up Podcast. Hey guys, we got a guest in the building, man. We got a good friend of ours, man. Elber, man. Elber's coming. Yeah. He's coming on. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Man.
You ready,
I'm
Dirk?
ready, bro. Ready.
Let's go, baby. Boom. Let's go.
Let's
you know
go.
what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
So let's bring him on. Let's bring him on.
Hey, what's going on, Elber? How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys? What's up, boys? How y'all doing, man?
Man. Hey, man, we're getting ready. We just told people, man, how great and fantastic you were while we were offline for a minute. And we're going to get into your story, your backstory, and everything. Exactly. And Dirk is going to slide us into there, man. Let's go.
I'm taking
TTMT, let's go, baby.
So, Elber, man, you're one of my good friends, brother. And I appreciate you so much for coming on the podcast, man. Elber's the audio engineer. He works independently, man, in the Christian realm and other realms, probably in the secular arena too, I guess. Doing audio engineering. And you know what? Anytime I'm trying to put things together in terms of playing my guitar, he's like, man, you can't plug in here, man. I want you to plug into the house. I want to plug into the cut your amp off, man. I'm like, he's the audio police, man. He's like the audio police for me. And he's like, man, no, I don't want you to plug in there. He's like, man, you're gonna do whatever you want to do anyway. He's like, and so I was like, come on, Elber. I'll try to appease you in this moment. So I have a great relationship with Elber, and I always wanted to have him on the podcast. We had him on briefly one time we did a conference, and I always wanted to get him back on. And he really was gracious to be able to give us his time to come back on. So, Elber, tell us, man, who you are, man, and tell us what you do and what's your passions in life, man. Tell us, man. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, bro. Thank you, my brother. Love you too, man. Okay, so I was raised in Jersey, right? My name is Elber Perlaza, right? And like you did say, I'm a professional audio engineer. I'm a professional front of house engineer and audio engineer as well. I'm sorry, monitor engineer as well. But anyways, I was born in Texas, raised in New Jersey, and I actually started, and then I actually started. I learned audio in church, bro. I got saved when I was like 18, right? And started going to that church, to a little church, and that's how I learned audio. I whatever. Anyways, learned audio in church, and then managed to take that to professional level, and then we live in Florida now, right? We've been in Florida for 2 decades. My wife and I, we've been married. So I've got a beautiful wife. I love my wife, and I have two beautiful children, and I'm blessed, bro. Blessed beyond belief. With my wife and 2 children, and our life, and everything is good. Just like everyone else, we've had our ups and downs, just like everyone. It's biblical, like we were talking off stage, right? But anyways, and then right now I'm currently, I am a freelancer, so I do audio, right? I also do, I don't know if you know this, Dirk, but I'm also a video and lighting engineer. So I have.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I'm learning all this stuff about you now. I didn't know all this stuff. I'm learning a lot about you right now. And in a nutshell, so I could do professionally, I could do audio, I could do video and lighting as well. I do projection as well. I do a number of things. And then to get to the last thing, right now I'm working on a couple projects, but one of those is I've got so many projects, but one of the projects that I'm working on is getting back into the wedding industry, right? And just starting. I'd like to get back into the production side of the wedding industry. It's such a big business. It's like it just makes a lot of sense. Anyways, yeah. Nice, man. I like it, bro. I like it. Yeah, man. There's some aspects that I did not know. You need to come on the team, bro, and help us out. We need lighting and video work. That's always good.
Bro, let's do it, man. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. You want to say something?
No, man. I want to start with the questions, man. I want to get into it, man, because he's talking about this wedding industry.
Yeah.
And I used to tell my wife, I told her, look, before we got married, I say, as long as we don't owe anybody when we leave here, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
I told her, whatever you want. If we don't, as long as we don't owe anybody when we leave this building,
yeah,
right, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if you want an elephant, just an elephant in the path. I don't care. Let's get it done, right?
Yeah.
Because what I call this industry is the gotta have industry.
Yeah, it is.
Because they gotta have it, dog.
Yeah, I mean it's all for the women.
And then I tell her, look, when I'm teaching her, I'm like, look, there's the regular price, and then there's the gotta have price.
Yeah.
The gotta have tax is up there.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta have the right lighting. I gotta have the right audio, and that's where I get Elber from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I go get Elber. I gotta have it. It can't be wrong.
Yeah.
I can't have my mom with her iPad out there in the
front. Exactly.
Trying to get every moment.
It
can't happen.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where Elber comes in.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's hit him with some questions, man.
Hey man, so we were talking off camera about some simple things, as men of God. I saw this clip by Jackie Perry. She was saying that she was basically talking about the fact, one of the scriptures of, men are pleasers of themselves, and they're seeking after pleasure and trying to please themselves instead of pleasing God, right? And I realized a lot of times, as men, we're trying to achieve certain type of goals and things to that effect, and a lot of time we're running away from suffering. And to be like God, the Bible tells you that God is long suffering. And a lot of times we're trying to go to these happy places in our lives, trying to run away from suffering, where long suffering makes you like God. Because if you have to think about God having to deal with seeing all the things that he has created and how much pain, if God is loving and love lives in God and God is love, right? Say, for instance, he's seeing all the pain and the evil that's going through. God has to be suffering through that too. So in order to be like him, you have to be able to share in his suffering. One of the aspects of him even going to the cross is him taking on our suffering, so we didn't have to suffer for the sins that we've been committed, because those sins needed to be punished. So now at a certain point, he's taken on that suffering for us. But we, in essence, we still in this life still have to go through suffering. And a lot of that suffering is because we choose not to focus on pleasing God. He says his burden is light. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I'm thinking in my mind, like, I don't feel like this life is easy or there's any light burden at all. How do you, man, as a Christian, man, think about these things, man, in terms of like trying to get your own happiness? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the car, it's not the house, it's not the amount of money that you have that's going to make you happy. What do you think about that?
I mean, first of all, I'm glad that we're talking about these things, right? I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you, you just the verse that you just recited, which is my yoke. His yoke is easy. Like, I mean, it is though, right? Look. I think, Dirk, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know where you're headed, right? Because God doesn't promise us, right, happiness or us being free of problems. He doesn't, right? There is, and also there is a teaching in long suffering, right? It teaches us to be patient, right? That's really I think that's the lesson that he wants us to learn, is to be patient, because man, look, I'm glad we're talking about this, and I'll tell you why. Because maybe we're having similar journeys, right? Where we're really kind of having these conversations with God and about like what are we supposed to be doing, right? Because you led with, hey, we're supposed to please God, right? That's really our job, right? Like,
correct.
That's our job, bro. Huh?
We end up pleasing ourselves. Because we want to please ourselves, because we want to get away from suffering. And we like suffering. Like, suffering is not something like you want. Like, even when Jesus had to go before the cross, he was like, can you take this cup and remove it from me? I don't really want to deal with it right now. And him being God himself, the likeness or the image, he's like, I don't want to deal with this God either. So how do you cope? Like, as a Christian, how do you cope with this? I mean, and you guys can chime in anytime you want.
Man, it is what I've been learning Well, since our last podcast with Pastor
Tron
Lefevre, our last podcast with Pastor Tron Lefevre, man, and he hit me with a verse that had the words "due time" in it. Yeah. In due time, you shall reap. You shall reap
a harvest. Yeah.
And I like to break down words, and break down sentences in the words. Like due time. It was already time there. Time is long enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Time is enough. Time is the suffering. Then he puts the due time on it. Now he's saying, look, in due time, in my time, in the time that I'm going to give you to do what you need to do in order to be ready for the thing I'm getting ready to give you.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for these things, bro. I just feel like God is like, okay, well, you're not ready to move to the next step. You're going to mess up my next blessing.
True. Yeah.
You're gonna. Somebody needs to see you do this the way you do it.
Yeah.
Right now, with that thorn in your side, somebody needs to see you carry this weight a little bit longer, just enough to see you in that glimpse
to fruition,
so that I can get my glory
out of it. Yeah.
Out of it.
Yeah.
The other day, I've been going through some car troubles, and it's been my biggest. For some reason, it's been my biggest problem in my life.
Yeah.
Right now, like it's like, oh my God, and then something one day was like, be still, peace. Stop getting on the market. Stop looking at all these lies on the internet, because everybody's lying about the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's lying about the price. No one's telling the truth. And I'm just looking. It's my biggest problem. It's my biggest thorn in my side right now. And I'm like, yo. But at the same time, God is moving other sins that I probably would have been in out my way. While I have this thorn, he's like,
other stuff out the way.
The visual stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You ain't so much worried about that right now.
Correct.
Maybe God is using our thorns and the time to create a new or transform my mind in us.
A new version of yourself.
A different version of us. And that's how I feel about it, man. I'm like, yo, because seeing as how this has been the biggest thing, I'm like, everything else is like, cake. I'm like,
exactly.
I don't gotta worry about how I get from here to there. You know what I'm saying? This is South Florida. You don't just,
exactly.
You'll just hop on, the bus and the train, you know what I'm saying, and get there on time. You just don't do all of that.
Yeah.
So it's been a really big thing in my life, and I find that God has grown me up in this time. Me and my wife started going back to church. We're more active in our prayer life, and these tribulations make you come back to God.
Come back to your knees.
You have to come back to God for these things, even though they might be petty to somebody else. When they become the big thing to you, and I believe God is getting ready to remove that big thing in my brain, and stop worrying about it. He's like, yo, you don't have to worry about that. When I give you this, it's going to be a different story. I don't want you to go out there and show me in this light.
Wow.
Like right now, I'm getting ready to go buy a bucket. I just need 4 wheels. I'm finna do the man thing. I'm like we can live, drive, anything. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? Some of us. I'm like, man, I can just go get this 82 Honda. I'm gonna put some gas in it and we're gonna drive. And my wife might complain, but I'm like, look, this thing getting us everywhere we're going. I'm getting ready to do that type of thing. I feel like I'm, for lack of a better word, crashing out on this car thing. I'm like, man, I could do it. I could do it because now the national average is like 749, bro. National average is 749 on the car payment. We haven't got into gas. We haven't got into insurance, and we haven't got into the fact that we stay in Florida.
Florida's serious.
Insurance fraud capital of the world.
Pretty much. We pay more money in insurance than anybody else.
Look, man, I got that car in March, and the part that shocked me wasn't the price of the car; it was the price of the insurance. I was like, yo,
exactly.
What are we doing here? What are we really doing here? I don't pay for the car. I'm about to resend this off. But I'm like, God, show me a different way. And I'm like, God is like, look. The other day he hit me with something. It was like, boom, it's just out of nowhere. It's like, God has people watching you.
Correct.
And he doesn't want you to be seen at that level. Because he's setting something up. He's setting something up. This is why you can't just drive down the street and see a car for sale and go buy it right now.
Correct.
Because if that person that he needs to see you, be caught in what he's doing for you, then it can be a problem.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be in the setting and the place that you're supposed to be in for the set time.
The due time.
Because a lot of times, I was talking about this with another person doing sales training.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we think success is going to be like this.
Yeah.
And success is a squiggly line, and then it might shoot up at a certain point. And a lot of times the gentleman was saying is that because God, like you said, he wants people to see your journey and experience and have a testimony on the other side. So because there's a reason that he's not doing it for no reason. He said he's either hiding you for a set time to reveal you at another set time. And sometimes like that whole hiding situation where God is hiding you in between the part, you're like, man, like I want to be out in the light and want to be you want to be I want to be like Drake. You know what I'm saying? I want to be come out the box, boom. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it doesn't work that way with God because he's not doing it only just for you.
Yeah.
He's setting situations up usually for someone else to be able to be a blessing, to be blessed by you. And you're to be somebody else, and then vice versa, someone else will be a blessing to you. So you can't really go out trying to bless yourself. Like you're a blessing to somebody else, and somebody else will be a blessing to you. But if you're always trying to seek after your own pleasure or what makes you feel good instead of seeking after God, and then being able to be settled in this long suffering. We don't talk about this often when we're dealing with things in life. We're like, no one settles in suffering. They're always in the like, okay, I got to feel good. This is a feel good moment. This is what I got to do to be happy. If I'm not with this person I want to be with, I'm not going to be happy if I don't have this or that. And I'm going to do everything in this world to make sure that I am satisfied, which is selfish, the selfish mentality, or the self-satisfying, or the pleasure mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about selfish people, man. Let's get on this, right? You said you work, monitors. Elber, you say you work, with people on stage.
Yeah.
On stage monitor. Who, besides Dirk, is who are like what musician? Which musician or vocalist, or is it the vocalist, is the worst to mix for? Yeah. For monitor.
Don't say guitarist, please.
Nah. You know what? I think I will say guitarist.
Don't say guitar. He's biased.
He's biased.
Are you biased? I'm saying
that. No, but I will tell you why. I think I know why. Because look. I'm gonna stay on that. I'm gonna stay as guitarist, and I'll tell you why. Because guitarist. But I think I know why. Guitarists spend a whole lot of time on their tone, right? On the sound, right? The quality and the sound that they get. So, and a lot of guitarists, right? Even the pro ones, the pro ones, they whatever. Anyways, look, the problem is that they get on the stage and then all of a sudden they're not hearing what they, what they know that amp is supposed to sound like, and it's like, and it's tough because. When you're mixing a guitar channel inside of a mix, that's just one part of the mix, right? So, when you're the engineer, you have to know the songs that you have. First of all, anyways, look, the mix engineer has to know the songs to mix a song right? Or he has to have an idea of the genre at least, right? So he knows how to mix these songs correctly, right? But then in the middle of that, you always have guitarists like Dirk. You know
what? I'm trying to hear what I want to hear. Albert's like, he's like, well, man, I'd rather you go into the house because I'm trying to get this sound. It's not just about you, Dirk, and what you want to do, the sound you want to make. But I'm like, I don't feel good if I don't get the sound I want because I'm not going to feel the song the way I interpret it, because I need to feel the sound that I want.
Well, God has sent you a message, Dirk. Long suffering through the mix.
I tried it before one time, and I was like, okay, Elber,
it's gonna make you better, though.
I'm gonna do it your way. And he's like, and then I came in, I changed it because he's like, do the in-ears, and I was like, I couldn't hear what I wanted to hear, and then he didn't bother me, and I was like, oh, Albert, why didn't you why didn't you say anything? He was like, well, you're gonna do anything you want anyway, so I just left you alone. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I felt good, vindicated at a certain time. I also felt guilty because I was like, he was like, man, well, he's just gonna do whatever he wants. I'm gonna try to mix other stuff because he's obviously not gonna listen to me. And it wasn't that I don't want to listen to you. I just like need my sound that I want to have so I could feel like I'm trying to do.
Man.
Nah, I hear you, D. Nah, Doug, I'm messing with you. Doug, listen, no, listen, that's a good lesson right there. And
it is. It's a good lesson right there.
Yeah, it's a good lesson. It's a really good lesson. But listen, that example is very specific, and I'll tell you why. Because we were the room that we were in wasn't very big to begin with, right? And so lots of times amps are easy, bro. And amps are loud, bro. Let's just kind of dig right into it, right?
Turn down every time and turn around.
Right, and that's what it is, right? Because what you know from the front of house perspective, right? We want to hear a balanced mix coming out of the PA, right? So when you have an amp on the stage, you're introducing a third speaker on the stage that becomes part of that picture, right?
Okay.
And is blending with the picture that we're trying to get in the PA, right? And so that's where kind of like the challenge, the conflict happens, is because we don't want to mix around your amp, right? First of all, because we don't know, right? By the time you get the volume right for you on the stage, right? It's usually too loud, right? Because amps shoot. First of all, they're very loud and they shoot really far, right? Because usually it's a 12 or 410 or whatever but whatever. 12. Anyways, they shoot really far, and it's hard to then build a mix in that room if we're hearing the amp right off the stage, right? If you could sit in any room in the room, and I can hear the guitar right off the amp, then it becomes very challenging to build a mix around that, because we have to mask that what's happening on the amp, or we have to mix with it, and usually you can't mix with it, right? Usually, like I said, there's a lot of variabilities in there, right? If for instance, if you like it very loud, and I can't change that, right? If I can't say to you, hey, we need to turn it down, then I can't mix around that, right? Because it's already too loud for the room. But we didn't have that case with D. We don't have that case.
Man, that guitar thing, man, used to get me, man. Shout out to Will Marcelin, bro. That's my bro. Yeah. But his amp was always on 11B. Like he always. He did the Marshall thing every time.
Yeah.
He went to 11, and I was like, yo, bro. And he always brings like these gusto heavy amps, bro. 212, the 212 joint.
Yeah, the Blues Deluxe.
Oh, the Blues Deluxe with the 2, like, it's so loud, amp, bro.
It's a beautiful amp.
No little cage around it or nothing, dog. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be absolute. So we talking about mixing, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it, man. We got this Shannon Sharp incident this week.
Yes, yeah.
Shannon Sharp caught on live on his Instagram live.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? He was doing the thing. He was getting down.
He was on Instagram live.
Yeah, so he goes on live, right? Mm-hmm. But let's talk about we talked about technical stuff just now.
Yeah.
You know what it takes to get your live to start?
Exactly. Right. Yeah,
press button specific. Oh, first of all, the app's got to be open.
Exactly, it's got to be open.
The app's got to be
accidental.
Open. The app's got to be open.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you got to specifically press the live button.
Yeah.
Then they ask you for a prompt. Let's just go through this. I'm just being real.
Yeah.
They ask you for the prompt and the name of it and everything, and then it starts.
Wow.
You got to press the button.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on. But what I will say is he's like the other guy that I'm liking it in media now. Yeah. Not voting for.
Yeah.
But in media, he's like Trump right now.
Yeah,
he's doing anything to stay relevant. Right now. He'll say the spiciest thing.
Yeah.
To just bring you guys right back around to just saying I don't think people get that.
Yeah.
The more people say your name, good or bad right now,
No bad.
You're gonna get some people.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some attention.
Exactly.
And I think that's part of the strategy. If there's
there's a dip. He saw some dips and some views, and like, you know what? What can we do?
What can we say?
What can we say?
What can we do? And Shannon Sharp just comes out. Well, first of all, about 2 days before that, he's getting on Ocho about that show and showing up late to the show.
Oh, wow.
Now we're talking about professionalism.
Yeah.
Now Ocho does this show with him. I don't know if you know
Ocho Cinco. You know Ocho Cinco? Football player.
I know if I know who he is.
Yeah, they have a late night talk show where they talk all type of crap with each other, right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Ocho's the type of guy. I think it's called First Take. Is it called First Take? No, it's not First Take.
First Take is
but something like that. Stephen A. It's another show. But they get on there. And Ocho has his way of life. You know what I'm saying? It's like having, like me and you. Like I got a way of life. Like I got to drive like 45 minutes to get here. So I got a way of life. Like yo, my transportation has to be right for me to come up here.
Yeah.
So Ocho gets into town and does Ubers with friends.
What?
To make it to the hotel. Now his plane was already late. So that means he was already running behind. To make the show for that night. He was already running behind. Then he gets in the Uber with somebody and they get locked out of the car.
What?
I think it's an Uber. It's either Uber or his friend. Or just a friend in town that comes and picks him up. But he said, that's how I roll all the time. Even though he has money to have a private driver, get him wherever he needs to go on time, he tells Shannon that I just took a ride with my friend and we got locked out the car.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm late.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying Shannon's at the top, but the level of professionalism to make your show happen
has to be
there. Like the agreement, the first agreement is to show up for each other.
Correct. Yeah.
Now if you can show up on time, that'll be even better. That's unity. That's what God blesses.
Correct.
But if you're a ticking time bomb every time we try to come together, if I can't count on you to be on time because you want to be, it's just
loose and free.
It's just you. We're trying to make money here.
Exactly.
It ain't really. That's how. So he's ranting with. He kind of went off on Ocho a little bit. Like he shamed him a little bit.
Yeah.
But they was having audio trouble that night, so that added to it.
Oh wow!
It went crazy.
Yeah.
So it went crazy. It went super viral. To the tone of Ocho feeling like, it looked like Ocho was like, man, I'm on my way out.
Oh, really? Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. It looked like it gave that energy.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, Shannon Sharp goes live.
Yeah.
With Michelle.
Yeah, with Michelle.
Now, this infamous Michelle.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to find
out who this Michelle is.
Yeah.
And he's like snoring and talking real dirty stuff. Man. He's going.
I didn't listen to
it is hot.
Really?
It is what you do with somebody that you are married to. Okay, so he's getting it in.
Christian?
Yeah, you can be. You can be that. Oh, we got Christians messing up every day.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, there's a lot of Christians that I know. They'd be cussing Christians, man. They'd be like, man, I don't really see too many Christians who really trying to, unless you're the pastor, like nowadays, once you see Kirk Franklin start cussing his son out, things are starting to go around.
Matters of the heart in between you and your son.
Exactly.
It can be a little different.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It can be.
Even was, let me get this story right. Even Moses got found.
Yeah, exactly.
Even that unready to serve God. You can just give it like that,
correct,
right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We got stories like that, but that's why sometimes I agree with Kurt some of the time. Kurt be like, man, look, the Bible isn't filled with saints that were saints their whole life.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're either going into being a Christian, or you know what I'm saying, or living it already.
Correct.
You know, and we have to be careful.
Yeah,
you have to be careful, man. But some people you got to check.
Yeah,
still sharp still, bro.
Yeah,
hey, man, you cussing out here.
Yeah,
I thought we was working on.
Yeah,
presenting ourselves a little bit better.
Yeah,
I thought we was working on showing our love for one another by what I'm saying, how we act around each other. Yeah. So That changes a lot of things. Shannon Sharp being caught, masterful move. Yeah. He went viral in what, January? Viral again for coming out the car looking kind of funny.
Crazy with the orange orange thing. So to kind of like quell the gay rumors, because it's kind of it was seen as effeminate.
Yeah, I mean, like when your hips switch like that, but he had two hip replacements. I
ain't seen him switching. I didn't see all that. They said his hips were switching.
They weren't switching, but he was kind of cocked to the side. But if you got two hip replacements, bro,
of course. He's a football.
Forget about it, man.
Yeah. Two hip replacements.
That's how you walk now.
Now I gotta go back and take a look.
Yeah, you gotta look at it. He has his like little man purse on.
Yeah,
I don't know what they call those.
Merce.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird, bro.
Yeah,
it gets in there, but like I said, bro, I like the strategy. This is strategy.
It is strategy.
2 days ago, you're like about to break up with your partner online. Yeah, basically your co-host online, and now the next day you gotta humble yourself. Like in front of your mom. Yeah. Your dad. You gotta humble yourself in front of the girl that you was with. Yeah. The entire world heard you online. Yeah. And if this was a setup, it's one of the good. It's keeping your name out there.
It is keeping your name out there. I don't know if I want to put myself out there like that. Elber, would you put yourself out there like that?
I would hope not, bro.
I don't think
they say money changes people, man. So you don't know.
I think so, man. I think money changes people to do things that are desperate than they normally would do. Because, the whole relevance. Because Shannon Sharp he has another job. Doesn't he have a job on ESPN?
No. I think he does, but he doesn't. He's not on that show with that other guy anymore.
Oh, okay, with the other guy who used to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, who kind of like
Skip?
Yeah, Skip.
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. Yeah, Skip Bayless.
Him and Skip Bayless got into it, bro, and I was like, this is a long time coming, bro.
Did he call him son or something like that?
No, he told him that his career was not as good as somebody else's career. And he didn't have to say that to say what he said.
Okay, I got you. It was kind of like a little stab.
He didn't have to say, it was a jab, and he didn't have to say that. And he used, I guess Shannon just was like, yeah, I'm having it today. We're going to have it out today. Took his glasses off. Put them on the table. The guy was like, put your glasses back on.
Put your glasses back on. I order you two. How dare you take your glasses off? Who'd you think we're going to fight here? You know who would win anyway, but
Beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But Shannon's got a little run going, and you got to do what you got to do to keep it going. Now, it's not going to last very long.
No,
first of all, you're let me just tell you, all the things that keep you out the media. Yeah. You're straight black male who used to play football. Yeah. And you speak eloquently. You try to speak intelligently. Yeah. Whenever you have a conversation with somebody, this is a very niche market. It's not the market right now. It's not the big market right now. Market, yeah. So you got to shock people everywhere you go. So this is why you have Cat Williams come on and say everything about everybody. Yeah. Because you can't do that and still have people come on your show.
Exactly, because you can't get away with it.
You can't get away with that.
Yeah, yeah.
No. You well-spoken black man. I'll start picking at you now.
Exactly.
But next thing we're talking about in the media, what were we talking about, bro?
We're talking about Tyrese, man.
We're talking about the Tyrese thing. Oh, here we go.
Support, man. He got arrested for child support because he's saying his wife Samantha Lee, man. She has two different profiles. On one profile, she's talking about how relationships are and she's how she regrets getting divorced and how men are dealing with all these type of issues and she empathizes with all men and deal with these issues and spousal support and all this type of stuff. And then on the other hand, she's attacking Tyrese, and Tyrese is like, yo, can you call off your lawyers? He said he never had to go to jail in a day in his life, and now he went to jail for child support. Of course, he got bailed out literally the same day because he just paid it. But then she has all these lawyer fees that they actually have a prenup, a signed prenup that stated, you get this, I get this, in case situations happen. And her lawyer, she has 3 lawyers, and they're contesting the prenup. And he's like, well, all your lawyers are trying to get millions of dollars from me and have me pay for your lawyer fees. She's pretending on one side to be this empathetic individual who has her own podcast, who empathizes with men, and then on the other side, you're seeing 2 sides of her mouth. One side, him saying she's doing all this stuff to me. That's not who she actually is. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem right there. It's like, I'm like, and she's a beautiful woman, but it's like, when you start looking at the dynamics of people's looks and stuff, has nothing to do with what's going on in the inside, man. It's what you actually do. What you profess is not what you do. Totally, those things don't line up. You know what I'm saying? And it's terrible to see, because we've all seen. I know, Elber, you understand. Black culture and things. A lot of times we have these situations where we're dealing with individuals. We have the government and other people get involved in our relationships. It just breaks up the family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Right. Especially with child support, because now the government's in telling you what to do with the money. Take your money for the child. Some people don't even use the money for their children. They spend it on themselves. So there's all those dynamics, and some people just do it for the sake of revenge. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff is just out of a bad heart. You know what I'm saying? Out of a hurt heart. You know?
Mm-hmm. Elber, you're married, right?
I am. Yeah.
What could you offer, man? We don't want nobody to end up in this Tyrese situation.
Yeah, exactly.
What advice, or just a simple tip on just keeping that thing together, man? Anything that you could offer to our audience?
You know what? One of the things I think we're not very good at in this country is letting young people know, like, hey, it's okay to go and take counseling, quote unquote, right? Or relationship training, right? Because, bro, there's a lot of things that can, a lot of challenges and problems that can be avoided or preempted if you know the game, right? And getting married and being in a relationship is just like anything else. It's like a job, and if you don't know the job, that's why the reason so many marriages do fail is because they get into a job with the right reasons, but then they don't have the support or the knowledge, right, to be able to fight through, right, all of our all of our internal issues that are the one that actually are the problems that keep us keep us where we're at, right? We don't know how to deal with those things, right? Unless and I'm not talking about people who there are certainly tons of emotionally intelligent and emotionally trained folks that that intersect at all levels of class, right? There are rich folks that are emotionally intelligent, and there are rich folks that are emotionally unintelligent, just like there are poor folks that are emotionally intelligent and vice versa, not intelligent, right? But the biggest advice for young couples is, hey, like, learn as much as you can about what a relationship really means, right? Because the more you know, right, the more it's like being a psychologist. Like if you study psychologist, your chances of having a successful psychology, your chances just went up, right? Because it's a lot of just behavior, understanding behavior, right?
Understanding those predetermined behaviors, yeah.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And but listen, more importantly than that, yes, is to put that marriage in God's hands, right? That's the best advice I could give you is to start with God. Is to lead with God, bro. If you lead with God,
how long?
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How long have you been married, Elber?
We've been married. We've been married 22 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's a marathon compared to like most marriages, because statistically, marriage is like first time marriage is 50% failure rate, second time marriage is 70%, and then even homosexual marriage is 75%, especially on the lesbian side, which is interesting, right? So, is it what is the issue? What is the things that kind of keep you together? Like, how did you know she was the one in the first place?
Man, I don't want it to sound like a... Go ahead. What's that?
I said, how did you know she was the one that you wanted to marry? Like,
oh man, that's a great question, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this. I
this
just
is on
knew.
camera. She's gonna know. Answer right properly.
I want to do those things as well. No, I wish I had a really poignant answer, man. I just knew, like when I met her. And
you saw her the first time?
Yeah, man. Like the first time I saw her, I was like, yeah, I want to marry her. I want to marry that
Where'd you
girl
see
right there.
her? Where'd you see her at?
Bro, I saw her literally in church, you know?
Okay.
Literally.
From where?
You know.
Across the way? She was close to you? What proximity?
So check this out, right? I grew up in this little a hood town, right? So whatever. Anyways, there was a church that I started going to when I did get saved, and she had just moved here from DR, right, to New Jersey, and she started
Okay.
going to that same church, and then whatever. I just used to see her, and I used to be like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. She was so cute. She's Dominican, man. She was
Of
so
course.
cute, right? But we when let me come backwards real quick. When we met, she was only like 15, and I was 17. I'm 2 years older than her.
Oh,
We didn't
wow.
start dating. We didn't start dating until she was almost 18, right? Because it wasn't like, hey, we started dating as soon as we met. It was more like, hey, I met her. I thought she was cute. I was 17. She's 15. And then, I always thought she was cute. Anyways, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed because
Yeah.
I know that God gave that. I know God gave her to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's God's gift to me, right? By the way, the Bible does say that a man who has a good wife, that's a gift from God. And
Yeah.
there aren't many gifts that God actually. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There
No,
aren't
you
many
do.
gifts there aren't many gifts that God actually gives us according to the Bible, right? Like literal gifts,
Yeah.
literal gifts, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's a good verse, man. I'm paraphrasing. He who finds a good wife, uh,
Find a
uh,
favor of God.
that too, right? But yes, I think it may be a translation, but I know that it says that a good wife is actually a gift from God. Like, bro, if
Okay.
you you know.
So she was a gift,
Uh,
man. So you met her early. So when did you decide that you want to get married? I mean, you liked her, but when did you decide you want to get married? Because you're still a teenager. I mean, did you get married when you were a teen or just?
so check this. It's not like she wanted to date me anyways, right? Look, it wasn't
I'm gonna say,
until
I'm gonna ask, like, what was her impression? You liked her, but she was like, doesn't mean she had to like you.
right. So we were friends, right? Because we went to the same church together, and my younger sister was her friend, which they're the same age, right? So that was
Oh, okay,
also part of the connection, right?
okay, that helped.
We there was a lot of hanging out that happened because of that my sister, right? But we didn't start dating until she was a senior, almost. Actually, she was a junior. Man, I'm lying. She was a junior when we started dating.
Wow, you
Yeah,
got a
she was
high
a
school
junior.
sweetheart, baby.
Yeah,
That's a
bro.
those
Yeah,
usually the
literally,
best.
man. Literally. I think I was 19 and she was 17. Yeah, when we started dating. Yep. But to answer your question, like how, I know.
I lost you there for a
Hey
second.
man, your audio's out right now. Give it a second. Give me a second. I don't know. Maybe our internet's down because he's going, but I think it's gonna record later.
Record later.
It's gonna record on his phone
Okay,
if he didn't press the mute button or something.
I got you.
Cardi B, right? It wasn't a Cardi B. I wasn't looking for a Cardi B as a wife, and I think that's also.
Yeah,
I think that's also part of the education. It's like, bro, sometimes there are people out there that they just don't. What's obvious to us, right? This is, also ain't obvious to everybody else, right? There's tons of people out there who just don't think the same way we
yeah,
do, you know, um, which explains why, you have people, because I know people who've matched up with people that were, that didn't work out. And
yeah.
if you look at him, it's obvious, right? It's like that, you could tell that wasn't going to work out. She
So
was
it wasn't
this
gonna
and he
work.
was that,
How did you
Huh?
know it was going to work? I mean, you guys had the same type of mindset. Where your temperament is different. What's her temperament compared to yours? You're kind of relaxed. Is she like the one who has all the energy, or she's relaxed like you?
No, man, it's actually it's the opposite. But I will tell you this.
Mm,
We both wanted the same thing. Like when as soon as we started, as soon as we knew
mm,
that we both liked each other, like
mm.
we talked about dating for marriage. Like
Okay. She didn't
so
waste any
that
time.
huh?
You didn't waste any time. You guys kind of both knew what you wanted.
Yeah. And I know that's not the same for everyone. I know that's not the same for everyone. So it's there's no template to be said from that, But um, yeah, we knew. Like, she knew she wanted to marry me, and I knew I wanted to marry her. So then when we did, we dated for almost 5 years before we got married.
Wow, it's a long
Right?
time.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a long time. I mean, but then you guys were young, so it's not that bad. If you'd have dated somebody now for 5 years, like year 2, you'd be like, "Hey, what's going on? You want to get married now?" Like, you should really be like, 3 years or 4 years. Like, that's a long time. I mean, was it because going on or because you were young?
No, because we were young, brother. Right. Because when you're 19, right? It's different, right? When you're 19, I don't think a lot of guys are thinking about getting married, but you are thinking about dating and having a girlfriend. So, and in this case, I knew I wanted to marry her. We just didn't have a timeline, But the timeline, it took forever. It did. But I didn't mind because D, you're closer to my age. I don't know, Dara, how old you are, but I know D is, and I think 20 years ago, if you're 20 years, if you're in our age bracket right now, our life is totally different from people born in the 90s and 2000s. Totally different.
That's true. That is true, man.
Yeah, but D, if we had to do what we did, if we had to do what I did back then, in today's time, today's world, yeah, bro, you wouldn't be able to date for longer than a year. Like, I don't think.
You would be able to.
No, the rules change, man.
Yeah.
And people don't understand, like, when those rules change, man, those times change. Like, good advice is only good advice for that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
For that time.
Like, people were like, "Oh man, you got it." Like, people were like, "Oh man, you got to get into school so you can get this, so you can get this and get that." I say, right now, does that work now like it would have worked 40 years ago? 40 years ago, 50 years ago?
Yeah.
A PhD or master's, you're living. It makes sense. It makes sense to go after it like you would.
Yeah.
Right now, like right now, they got ghost jobs on Indeed.
Yeah.
You try to do that the same way now and try and get the same effect out of it. Yeah. You might not get the same effect. You'll get the same piece of paper.
Yeah.
But you won't get the same effect, and then you'll be even. Then the debt that's assigned to it,
exactly. You'll be behind,
You'll be so far behind, you're playing catch up as soon as you join the job.
Yeah, because the way millennials think, or people in this generation think, they don't think about gaining money the same way that we would in the past. Their mind says, like, let me try to make some money online. Let me do something on TikTok. There's other ways of being creative to make as much money, if not more, than somebody who went and stayed and got their PhD and had to go through all this type of stuff. Right. And that person who's a TikToker influencer makes way more money and does less work.
The way the money moves and the way feelings move now.
Yeah.
People aren't built like they were.
They're not built like that.
Elber, I'm 39, so I'm not too behind.
It ain't that bad.
So it ain't that bad. It ain't that type of disparity in it.
Yeah.
But the way that people are dating now, kids are dating third grade. They're talking about who they're dating third, fourth, fifth grade.
Yeah, ridiculous.
This is something I wouldn't even think about. I'm not thinking about. When I was in school, I was like, my thing, because I was always the good guy, right? So I'm like, I can't date nobody without a job. Like, where are we gonna go?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Exactly. What
are we going to do? I don't have those type of resources.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? For me myself personally.
Access to that much
but now it's like, just because we talk to each other on the phone, or we text each other on Instagram, we'll go together. And then you have all these kids. This is different, bro. Yeah, because I work with the kids and I work with the middle schoolers. I get to hear how relationships go for them. And if they're going through 3-4 relationships in a year, now.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Imagine them without without going to a psychologist or somebody, you know what I'm saying, a counselor to help them walk through relationships later. They don't have a chance at knowing how marriage will actually get to go if you start this early and you're in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Yeah. And you don't know what troubles are coming. You just accept them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, he must love me because of this, or she must love me because of that. And you can't gauge it off of that and then want to do something so serious as get married.
Yeah.
And then have your whole basis be, I dated somebody in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't, you know what I'm saying? Your foundation has to be, let's get back to the God conversation. Your foundation has to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my wife was like, well, we should I want to get married. I'm like, cool. I want to get married too.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to this counseling. We're going to this counseling session.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sit with our church had a married people's ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got married, we sat with them and they had conversations and stuff about what's going on and stuff I just didn't know what was coming my way. Mm-hmm. They spoke about. Mm-hmm. She got to hear it. I got to hear it. It wasn't well, he's the man and you do this and you do that. It wasn't that type of conversation. It was more like, this is the type of stuff you're going to face on your way during marriage
journey.
You know what I'm saying? You just, and then most people just get the statistics off the television. Yeah. First year unmarried. Yeah. Once you hear that and you don't have no other basis for marriage, you in a house where it's a broken home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where your father and your mother are against each other all your life. How can you expect more out of the man that you or the woman that you want to marry? Correct. If you've never seen it. If you never experienced an example or even had a person close to you.
Have a standard to look at.
Like my whole family, I'm gonna say this and I hope they're watching or not watching. Like I say, my sister was getting some type of relationship advice from my auntie. And I was like, your auntie ain't been in a relationship or married since we've been alive.
Wow.
How?
Yeah, how could you give
all of your aunties? Let's just go there.
Yeah.
You got one married auntie in your whole lineage of on just one side of the family. And you're gonna take the advice. It was bad advice. That's why I used that word.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was bad advice.
If it was good advice,
if it was good advice, I'd have been like, okay, she may have, she learned some things through what she was going through and she's telling you, but it was bad advice. So I was like, why would you take that from her? I'm like, you can't take that advice. This is not to be taken seriously. Okay,
she's not even in there.
She don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah, she don't have a dog in the fight.
So tell you to break up what you're doing. Yeah. Instead of hearing your guy out. Yeah. Knowing what's going on. Yeah. Now, if it was a very serious situation, I'd be like, yeah, you got to go. Like, you come and stay with us right now. If it was that type of situation, but it's not. Yeah. This is some. He ate the cookies out the refrigerator and didn't replace them, or he drunk the last little bit of the orange juice type of fight.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying?
That's not a reason.
It's not a reason. Like it's not. Nah, it's not. Yeah. Oh, he does stupid things. I was like, that's not a reason to. That's not a reason to leave somebody like. That's
what I'm saying.
I don't know. It bothered me because I've had the training. Yeah. I have the foundation. My parents weren't the greatest at doing it, but they did it.
They did it.
And
exactly.
And I can watch what worked and what didn't work with them. Yeah. So
it's funny you should say that because I was thinking about like the whole time getting back to the Tyrese thing. Mm-hmm. He said she left. Well, she said she left because people were talking in her ear. Yep. And he's like, well, why would you just listen to anybody else outside of here to up and just leave your husband with your 1-year-old and just take off? Because somebody was talking in your ear, like, what was your purpose of getting married in the first place? Like, if somebody could talk you out of it, like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody could talk you out and just decide to up and leave, like, where were your emotions, your mentality? Like you're supposed to be bonded to your spouse or to your partner. Why are you on the out? It's always like those other outside things. I always think about relationships like you have external factors and you have internal factors. If the internal factor is strong, it doesn't matter what's going on externally. Anybody can try to come in and break you apart. Doesn't matter. You can be like, nah, we're together. Y'all can't do anything. But if you have issues like internally or externally that you haven't come together internally, then all the external things can just pull you apart because you're really not together. You have a different mindset. You're like two people going on two different paths, saying you're going here, but you're actually going this way.
Well, I want to blame Tyrese. It always comes back to us. I told somebody the other day, we're on the perch, looking out at things. We can see things happening before they start boiling up. Yeah. We get to see those things because we're out in front of these things. Mm. And I'm telling you, I'm putting it on him, and I got to put it on him today. Mm. If you knew she was the type of girl that hung around with just a bunch of single women, this is a mistake. Yeah. unless they're single women looking to get married.
Yeah,
if they weren't single women looking to get married, then you basically married somebody that's in a pool of discouraging people towards what you're getting ready to do.
Correct. You
haven't leaved and cleaved.
Leaved and cleaved.
You know what I'm saying? You haven't leaved and cleaved to your partner, because if that was the deal, you know, some women need to be told from the beginning, like, this is us.
Exactly. This is us. Us against the world.
It's us against the world.
Ain't nobody else.
You may think right now that it's you and just you, and then we come apart as separate parts, and we're separate parts standing together all the time. But it's not that.
Yeah.
We are now a threefold cord now. Yeah. We don't put God in this.
Yeah.
We don't put God in this. Me and you. We're together. Yeah. This is it. This is we're going to have our struggles, and we're going to have our issues, and we're going to have our happiness, and it's going to work out to where we want it to work out. And, you know, last week with Dr. Tron, we were talking about, you know, making things, what's winning to you.
Yeah. Look at that video. Check out our last video.
Go check out that last video, man.
Yeah.
Counseling with Dr. Tron. What's winning to you? What's the game plan? What's the goals? You know, because once you have that game plan, that goal with somebody, usually when you communicate that, either they agree with it, or they don't. Yeah. And when they agree with it, they're reminded of that stuff when other things come
at the same time.
Come at them. When you have your single girlfriend talking all the yah to you and getting you all riled up,
you gotta reinforce things.
You gotta know. It goes back to what Elber was saying, man. You got to have a foundation of people around you that know what they're that have been through this and can talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna mess this up.
You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail miserably.
You're gonna mess this up every time. Elber just dropped out, man. Man, Elber has not completed their upload. Hey guys, look, man, but we're gonna keep talking. We're gonna keep talking about this, man, because I'm blaming Tyrese, and I'm hoping you don't agree. But I'm blaming Tyrese.
I do not agree.
Somebody, that was all over the place.
And you know what? I don't agree, because I do feel on the side of Tyrese, because I feel for him, but he does have a measure of responsibility. But I just don't see how a person because really, to be honest, you pick. We talk about it all the time. Right. You pick that individual, and so like you have to take responsibility for the fact that you pick that individual.
You're picking the wrong people.
You know what I'm saying? You're picking the wrong people.
So the words of TTMC.
You know what I'm saying? You're picking the wrong people. So you decided to pick that person. So you have to bear responsibility for the person that you chose. Because
why I put it on Tyrese is because I believe he has the type of personality where I'm feeling the same way. Where you put everything on you.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to understand this based on how you felt.
How you felt
instead of finding out how she really feels.
Exactly.
You say, okay, well, if it works out, it's on me, and if it doesn't work out, it's on me. And now it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to say it's on her. I believe that he really internalized this whole. You have to miss it like this. Nobody just up and flips out
and just
leaves the house with the baby. And everything that you created, all this money that you left there, all this home that you've created. Nobody just up and leaves because the girlfriend tells them to up and leave. There has to be there's something else going on. It's either you didn't see that she was greedy.
That's true.
Because you just wanted the relationship as a Tyrese. Or she totally blindsided you. Let's say that.
I feel like she blindsided him.
But there's a lot of people but with the rate of people being just people. Then it's just the new type of people, man.
It's a new type of individual. So I think with this generation, the type of people that are out here today, because there's no wherewithal when it comes to relationships, they're not able to cope with like situations like if like this one little thing, like what is your purpose in even getting with an individual? If this was the only thing, if you have like you can't go into marriages and relationships thinking, okay, if this doesn't work, boom, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because if you only think that in marriage, you're not supposed to go anywhere when you're married. Like you're supposed to decide all that stuff before. The person's not for you. you decide, okay, this person is not for me before you get married. So that way you're not hurting the individual, or you're not continuing to gaslight them to believe that there's something out here that's not really true. Right? And at that point, you should be saying to yourself, like, listen, we've got to come to the point where there is no turning back. There's no option for failure here. If you really are, what is your breaking point? At your breaking point, are you still willing to be in here if this person hurts you as much as you could possibly hurt? And usually what happens is when you're next to an individual, they are going to, because you are close to them, they are going to hurt you. Because that's just that, to expect not to be hurt is you being delusional, because you're going to get hurt, because there's other ways that people interpret hurt, and sometimes you may not know that, and you might unintentionally do something that is out of their own lexicon, where they expected you to be sensitive here, and you're not, just, and it's nothing you did on purpose, but you're not used to being sensitive here because they didn't tell you those preconceived expectations that you didn't know about, and it ended up hurting them. So now you have a situation where, like, someone should be able to come on the outside and tell you, oh, he did this and this, and then now you're just up and leaving. So to me, either you didn't really have any fortitude, in the first place, because what was anchoring you in the first place? Like, if anything could just like set you off that you got to leave, then either you just were in there for the money, like, I'm just going to give this guy for the money, and then I'm going to just take off, and I want my own thing to start working, because obviously you are in essence not even trying to repair the situation. You're saying, I got to go to somebody else instead of going to this person that you're with to try to circumvent. Well, why did you do what you did? Was it being validated? And how can we work that situation out? And maybe it can't be worked out, but maybe there are things and expectations that were not even met before you got married. So all those situations that you taking somebody else's viewpoint over the person that you're actually with. And it became so strong. Now, this is the interesting thing. If she said that, people were talking in my ear, and they pulled me out of my situation, my marriage, to cause me to make these decisions. Like, you're a person, you're your own person.
Look, now see,
you know what I'm saying?
Now see, that type of person, is the type of person you got to check out for.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to watch out for that, because you got to be on your P's and Q's, because you're Tyrese, man. You accumulated some wealth. Yeah, you got to be mindful of who you get with, and their minds. Their mindset. But at the same time, I feel like there is a window for somebody to blindside you with. Yeah, I don't want great actors. There's a great chance that she just like, oh, I don't want to be here no more, and just up and left. Yeah. There's got to be a whole lot. It's got to be a whole lot more to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Usually that profile is like, oh, I want the money. I don't care about his feelings. There's a lot of things that go into just like packing up. Yeah, just leaving, and then sending lawyers out, then doubling down and sending lawyers after you. Yeah, exactly. There's something going on. Oh man. There's something going on, man. I think we got Albert back. We got Elber back in the studio. We're gonna get him back on the stage real quick. Adding him to the stage. We made it back. What's going on?
What's up, boy? Sorry about that, man. How y'all doing, brother?
Good. Oh, we're doing good, man. We were wrapping things up, but we saw you was coming back on. Yeah. Man, we wanted to leave the audience with a couple more encouraging words, man. What could you give some young couple? We said this before, but something else they could use to make it to the 22nd year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Something actionable, huh? Actionable? Okay.
What happened is, did you ever get a 7-year itch?
Oh, man, bro. Man,
nobody's going to see this later on, okay? Don't worry, it'll be on forever. But she might not see it because she doesn't even know you're doing this, unless she's in the background. I don't know.
No, she's not. No, but check this out.
She'll come up and watch a video on YouTube, and she'll say, Albert, like, what's Albert doing there?
Oh, man, please. No, that's a good question, though, Dirk, for real. That's a good question. But Daryl, look, man, Daryl, let me see. Let me think real quick.
He's trying to get the right answer.
No, you don't need a right answer, man. We just need something to leave the audience with, man. Because we this marriage thing, man, it's not easy. It's not a quick journey. It's not something you just wake up and go do.
Yeah.
You need some guidance. You need some foundation, and just give them a love foundation, man. We got the counseling thing. What's one more thing, and then we'll leave it alone, Doc. We'll let you head back to monitoring for the stars. You know what I'm saying? Handling your business.
Hey, well, listen, I appreciate y'all, man, for real. I appreciate the D&D Level Up show. I appreciate y'all, man, for real. This is what I tell y'all. The Bible tells us that love covers all, right? Love covers all, right? So when a man and a woman, or anytime anyone commits to marriage, what they're saying is, hey, I'm going to commit to loving you, right? That's what they're saying. That's what we say to each other. That's what we're saying. And I know that's obvious, but sometimes we forget that, right? That's the commitment that God tells us about. He wants us to love each other every day, right? So the one thing I'll tell you, man, don't let a day get away from you where you guys are not loving each other, right? Or in love with each other, right? Because one day can quickly turn into 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then that's when you get into trouble, okay? So God tells us, like, we have to have that love in our hearts all the time, right? And the fact that he tells us that, it tells us a couple things. It means that we can get it, right? If I don't have it,
it's available.
It's available. I just gotta pray. If I don't feel like loving my wife today, all I gotta do is pray. God, just put it in me. Give me the right spirit. Give me the right heart. Put it in me, right? But we could circumvent all that just if we remind ourselves all the time of that promise that we made at the altar. That promise at the altar is, hey, we're gonna love each other. Now, I'm not saying that all marriages are gonna work and they have to work out. There are marriages that aren't gonna work out. They're not gonna work out for whatever reason. But the marriages that can work out, right, are the ones that they don't stop loving each other, right? Because that's where you get into trouble. If there's no love, you're in trouble. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that, sir. Elber, thank you, bro.
Man. We appreciate you, bro.
Man, this was a great podcast, bro.
Hey,
we covered a lot going on. Man, we get to it, man. We had a special guest. Your company now, man. You're here, your family on the D&D Level Up podcast. And we just want to take the time to make sure that our audience knows that we're here for them, yo.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, we're here for you right here on the D&D Level Up podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. Hey, guys, checking out. Deuces.
Love y'all.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
All right.
Hey guys, we got our brand new product, the Ultimate YouTube Marketing Guide ebook. I want you guys to click down in the subscription. This is going to give you impactful information. I've gotten so many different ebooks from different people, and it's basically basic stuff. This goes from basic to intermediate to advanced. If you've never done YouTube marketing before, this is the jam. I want you guys to go check it out. I'm completely giving this away. Bro, I've discounted 70%.
Woo!
Right?
That's big, bro. We got to talk after the pod.
Yeah.
70%?
70% off. Limited time only. Listen, I put a whole bunch of work into this. A lot of times when people give you ebooks, they don't really give you that much resources. They give you a certain amount of things, and it's just enough to get you to go ahead and buy another product. But I didn't want to do this with this product. I wanted actual people to actually get something out of it.
Value, baby.
Value.
Let's go.
And once you look at it and you see the aspects, I put 30 lessons in here. So I put a lot of hard work into this. Go ahead and check it out. The link's in the description. Go and get it. Deuces.